Material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Ajnanatimidānasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanande Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyareshakarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Life is full of perplexities, problems, difficulties come, isn't it? Do you agree? Maybe some of us in our life situation now, we're going through perplexities, we're going through challenges. If you are, don't think that you're the only one. This is what this world is. If you come into this world and you think, why am I going through so many perplexities? Then actually we don't understand that the purpose of this world is actually to give perplexity. Like, just imagine if you're in a jail and then you call up the prison guard and you say, no, it seems there's a problem here, the door is jammed. Someone's got to bring some oil, quick, bring some oil, the door's jammed. No, you're in jail. Or you call the prison guard and say, no, something must be wrong, no one's bringing any menu. I mean, they keep serving the same thing, porridge, every day. Where's the menu? There ain't no menu in prison. You go with what comes. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamupetya punar janma dukhalayam ashashvatam. Alaya means a place. It doesn't mean alaya. Someone who tells mistruth. It's that as well. But alaya means a place. So for example, in Sanskrit you have different words, like Vidyalaya means like a library, a place of knowledge. Bhojanalaya, isn't it? Some of you are from India, means a place of eating. Where you eat. And the material world, what is it known as? Dukhalaya, place of misery. Misery? Yes. Because no matter what you do in this world, misery will come. Sorry to drop that bombshell on a nice sunny Sunday afternoon in Amsterdam when you came here for spiritual upliftment. Material world is a miserable place. Can you ever predict where an earthquake will take place? Can you ever predict when an earthquake will take place? Can you ever predict what scale that earthquake will take place on? but tomorrow, boom, it could just happen. Did you know that in everyone's life there will be life quakes? You were worried about earthquakes, right? You don't worry about earthquakes in this part of the world. In other parts of the world they do, but it doesn't matter. Everyone is going to experience life quakes. Have you ever heard of life quakes? Life quakes are things that will happen in everyone's life. On average, every single person in this world will undergo between 3 and 5 life quakes in the journey of their existence. You know what a life quake is? Someone very close to you passes away. Or a relationship which you so much treasured breaks. Or some health problem appears on the scene without any prediction. Or, for example, you're caught in the middle of a natural disaster or some world situation that you have no control over. Or say, for example, there's some misfortune in your life and you're in the middle of a financial crisis. These are all life quakes. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, how much money you have in your bank account, how many letters you've got behind your name, BSc, MSc, PhD, MAD. That was a joke. It doesn't matter. Life quakes will come. Once we used to do this exercise with corporate people, we used to say, draw your lifeline. And now we want you on your lifeline, on the journey of your life. What were the highest moments and the lowest moments? And what were the turning points? You can do this exercise sometimes. And analyze your life and see the turning points. And some of the most major turning points in your life are when you undergo a life quake. So it's going to come, no matter what. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, the material world is a source of perplexity for everyone. In your life, you may be blessed with good birth, you may be blessed with good intelligence, you may be blessed with all kinds of what we call good karma. But don't think it's going to save you. It's going to come to everyone. So I'm just saying this, not because I'm trying to curse anyone here, but we need to be awake to the reality of life. It's coming, if it hasn't come already. And we need to be aware of how to navigate that situation. So the Bhagavad Gita is very powerful because here we have Arjuna who's undergoing a life quake. His whole existence is being shaken. And he doesn't know what he should do. It's confusing, it's bewildering. So what does he do in all of his confusion? He makes the best decision in his life. And what's the best decision he ever made in his whole life? He approached Krishna for wisdom. He approached Krishna for inspiration. That was very, very wise. You see, when people want to make a decision, they react in different ways. One type of person, when they have to make a decision, they're basically, they can't make a decision. They, what do you call that? Indecisive, yeah, thank you. They're indecisive, they can't make a decision. Put your hand up if you're a little bit like that when you have to make a decision. It's like, I don't know. And what happens when you're indecisive?
Nothing.
Nothing? Yeah, okay, nothing. But ultimately a decision has to be made because you can't sit on the fence. So if you don't make the decision, life makes the decision for you. So you may say, like, oh no, I don't know, should it be this, should it be this, should it be this? And then if you sit on the fence, ultimately what will happen in life is a decision will be made for you. So indecisiveness is not very good. What would you say is the complete opposite of indecisive people? It begins with I. It begins with I as well.
Impatient?
Impulsive. So here you have indecisive, and here you have impulsive people who just make a decision without even thinking properly. Put your hands up if you're like that.
Sometimes.
Just make a decision, you don't think about like what's going to be the ramifications of this decision, you know. We all have decisions in our life that we regret making because perhaps we were a little bit impulsive. So being indecisive is not good, agreed? Being impulsive is not good, agreed? So then what should we be when we have to make a decision? Introspect. We should think deeply. What are the costs? What are the benefits? What will happen? What will come from it? But there's something higher than even being introspective when you make a decision. And you know what that is? Inspiration. Because if you even just try to figure out a decision in your head, even then you won't make the best decision because your experience is limited. So you may make a decision, you know, okay, I'm going to get married to this person. On the plus side, their height is just right. They come from the right family, good qualifications, you know, but on this side, the mother-in-law, this, you know, this problem, that, you know, so then you may weigh it up. But even in your head, when you try to make a decision, because we have limited perception, we won't make the best decision. Therefore, Arjuna, when he was on the battlefield, he decided, I don't want to be indecisive, I need to make a decision. I don't want to be impulsive though. I don't want to just jump into something. And I could be introspective, but I don't think I'm going to make the best decision by just trying to sit here thinking about myself. Therefore, what did he do? Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. He went to Krishna and he said, I want to go beyond all these three and I want you to give me the inspiration so I can understand what's the best course of activity for me. So this is what we need to do in our life. Every single one of us, every single day we're making decisions. And those decisions can get us into big trouble, or they can create a beautiful future for us. But oftentimes we're not making decisions with spiritual inspiration, and therefore we're making bad decisions. They say bad decisions are easy to make and very difficult to live with. And good decisions are often hard to make, but much easier to live with. But if you want to know how to make the best decision, then you have to follow Arjuna's example. And Arjuna says, I need inspiration. I need to access a body of wisdom that's beyond what I've experienced in my life so that I can make a decision which factors in the bigger picture. And so Arjuna says to Krishna, like, yeah, I'm your student. Inspire me. Tell me who I am. Tell me where happiness lies. And tell me in this particular situation what decision I should make in order to achieve the happiness that I'm looking for. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says everyone in their life must have a spiritual guide. There are three types of spiritual guide, you can say, broadly speaking. One type of spiritual guide is the books. So this is like, if you want to make a decision, this is your first port of call. Go to the books and try to see what inspiration comes. But not just that, the second type of spiritual guide is a spiritual person, a guru. Someone who has studied this knowledge and someone who can then speak to you and help you to apply it in your life in a relevant way. And then it said that the third type of guru is divinity or God who is residing within your own heart. This is known as Chaitya Guru, or the inner navigator, the inner guide, the inner inspiration. So this is where you get spiritual inspiration from. divinity in the heart, inspiration from the books, and inspiration from spiritual people. Now, getting inspiration from divinity within, at our stage is very, very difficult because we're not connected with divinity within. And therefore, we hear many voices in our heads. Do this. Why don't you do this? I think this is a great idea. Is it the voice of divinity? What do you think? Is it? How many of you hear voices in your head? Okay. Bring the psychologist in. We all hear voices in our heads. We all have ideas. Well, I think this will be good. I think this is not good. But how do we know whether that's coming from a spiritual inspiration or whether it's just our mind coming up with things? Therefore, it's very difficult to hear the inner guide, the inner inspiration of divinity, because we have so many other things which is drowning out that voice. Therefore, for us, the main spiritual inspiration that we get is the inspiration we get from the books and the people who are living the books and teaching the books. Basically, what Krishna is saying to Arjuna is that anyone in their life, if they don't have access to spiritual wisdom in the form of books, and if they don't simultaneously have access to spiritual people who can teach them those books, then know for sure that in their life they're going to get lost. That's just the bottom line. I'm just telling you as it is. I'm not sugarcoating it here. And then we're going to open it up and you can tell me if it doesn't feel right. But basically, everyone needs spiritual guidance. That's the fact of the matter. And the longer we go without spiritual guidance, the greater the chance is that we're going to increase our complexity and increase our entanglement in this world. And that's basically what's happening on a day-to-day basis. You're making decisions which are getting you into deeper and deeper trouble. And you're creating a web for yourself which eventually is going to be very, very difficult to escape. Sorry, I'm traveling so many places, I can't always remember. So it's a very, very important thing that we're learning here today. That let us find spiritual inspiration in our life. Let us find out, let us answer the bigger questions. Who am I? Where am I going? What's my purpose in life? And then make decisions based on that. You see, unless you know what your goal in life is, unless you have a vision, unless you know why you're existing, how can you decide your day-to-day activities? You can't. First you need to know. They say if you don't know where you're going, then any train will take you there. Yeah. So we need to know who we are. This is the most basic fact of life. I mean, imagine you got on a train, for example. Imagine you went onto a train and you were sitting opposite someone and you just decided to strike up a conversation because after all, you're going to be sitting next to each other. And you looked at the person and you say, oh, right, nice to meet you. Where are you? Where did you just come from? And the person looks at you and says, I don't know. You say, okay. Then you say okay, so where are you going? And they're just like, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, this is, the plot thickens. So what are you doing here on the train? I don't know. I mean, soon you're going to begin thinking is this person okay? Like they don't know like where they're going, where they come from. They don't know like where they're going, and they have no clue why they're here, but they're just happily sitting on this train. I mean, it makes no sense. It's crazy. It's absolutely mad. Let's just say it as it is. But then, are we like that? Because if someone comes up to you and says, why do you exist? And you're kind of like, I don't know. And you're like, but what happens after death? I don't know. But then why are you here on earth? I don't know. But anyway, I'm busy doing my things every single day. I mean, this makes no sense. It's crazy. So we're living in a crazy world in which like people think, oh my God, you've become so religious. Like, I don't know how many of you are going to be comfortable to go into work tomorrow and tell all your people that you attended a religious sermon yesterday. You may feel like you don't really want to share that with everyone because it's a little like, all of a sudden you become so religious. Like, is everything okay? Like, are you alright in your life? Is there some problem? Or like, why are you going to like a temple? Why are you like studying religious books? Are you okay? So people think this is some kind of religious thing. It's not. This is not religious. This is not religion. This is life. This is life. We have to know who we are, why we're here, and what happens after this life. And then you can make the right decisions. Otherwise, what are you making a decision? For example, some of you made a decision to come from India to Amsterdam. Are you happy with that decision? Yeah. Happy? Yeah, you won't say no, you're surrounded by get out of our country. Right? So you think it's a good decision. I'm not challenging you, by the way. But how do you know it's a good decision? You'll only know if it's a good decision if it's taking you closer towards your goal. But what's your goal? What's your goal? I want to make money. I'm not saying, I'm just giving you an example. I know none of you want to make money. But why do you want to make money? Because I want to be happy. But do you know what will make you happy? You see, like you have to go to the root cause, and then you can understand, oh, this is what I'm really looking for. Then you can understand, is going to Amsterdam, or I'm in Amsterdam, should I go back to India, or should I get married to this person, or should I do this kind of career? If you don't have any reference point, how do you know that you're making right decisions? It's just completely random. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita means this is the ultimate book which helps you to make life decisions. Life decisions that will take you towards the real happiness that you're looking for. And so we picked this verse today, chapter number 2, text number 7, and it's from this verse that the whole Bhagavad Gita begins. Because before this, Krishna doesn't say any wisdom to Arjuna. Because Krishna is not like kicking the door down and like forcing himself into our life. You know what I mean? Like Krishna, that's not his style. Krishna's not like going to kick your door in and say like, okay, listen to me, I'm going to tell you what's the goal of life. No. Krishna's just sitting there next to Arjuna on the chariot. And only when Arjuna says, you know what, Krishna, maybe, can you help me out? Can you give me some answers? Only when Arjuna turns to Krishna does Krishna start speaking. And even when Krishna speaks everything, what does he say at the end? Iti te jnanamakyatam huyat guru yataram maya vimrashe dadasheshena yatechasi tathakuru. Even at the end of the Gita, once Krishna has told everything to Arjuna, Krishna just says like, I told you everything. Think about it, reflect on it, analyze it, introspect, and then do what you want to do. It's up to you. So Krishna is not a religious fanatic. He's not like coming here to like force you into anything. But Krishna is just like there, and if you approach him, he can give you amazing wisdom. And even after he's given you all of that wisdom, he gives you complete free will. Do what you want to do. It's up to you. It's up to you. You have to live your life. You make your decisions. But then you have to ask yourself, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, are you going to have regrets? Are you going to look back at your life and think, why did I spend so much time doing all of that? Why did I put so much investment and energy into that? Why didn't I make that decision? Why didn't I spend more time doing these things? We have to avoid living a life with regrets. And the only way you're going to avoid living a life with regrets is if you understand in the here and now, before you make all your decisions, what it is that you seek at the most core of your identity. Once you know that, then you can make the best decisions, and once you make the best decisions, there will be no regrets. But if you just, if we just rush into making all these life decisions without taking guidance, spiritual inspiration, there's a good chance at the end, in English they say, the fag end of your life. At the final years of your life, you may look back in your rocking chair and think, if I could turn back the clock, maybe I would have done it all different. But you can't turn back the clock. Then you'll have to live with that regret. Just lose time. And it doesn't matter if someone says, like, I already feel like that now. If you already feel like that now, don't worry. Because you can turn the ship around. You can turn the ship around here and now. It's never too late. Because the blind king, Dhritarashtra, who begins the whole conversation, he missed it. He missed all the chances. He missed every single chance. But right at the end of his life, it finally fell into place and he got it. And then he went for spiritual perfection. So it's never too late. But if you can do it earlier, at the beginning, why not? So just like Arjun went to Krishna to understand what is the real goal of it all, before making a decision, let us do that. Then maybe life will be much more progressive. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So anyone have any questions, comments, complaints?
I have a question to the whole audience.
I have a question.
I'm getting some signals from behind that there's a few people waiting in the hall.
Okay, we just need you to come forward.
Yes, please squeeze in. Please squeeze in next one.
Yeah, please come forward and then if you have. Yes, Prabhu. Do you have a mic for you? There's no mic. Or are you just going to speak now?
This person in the train that doesn't know where he comes from, he doesn't know where he's going to, he doesn't know
The person in the train who we talked about, yeah.
he doesn't know what he's doing. So he might say, well, I'm just enjoying the train ride. So, what does it
I'm just enjoying the train ride, even though I don't know where I came from, where I'm going, but I'm having a good time. There's good food on the train. You know, I got a nice view outside of the, you know, and it's not an Indian train. Definitely can't be an Indian train. Maybe a Desha train, DB.
I wouldn't give that answer, but he said, what do you
Yeah. So you're saying, what's the problem with that?
How can we convince that person, you know, this is not satisfactory?
Yeah. So what if someone says like, yeah, I don't get into all these deep philosophical arguments and philosophical searching. I'm living here now and I'm having a good time. You know, it's fine. I have a house, I have my kids, I have my job. You know, once a year I go to Lanzarote and life is okay. Like, so what do we say to such a person? See, it's like this. I once had an Italian friend. He was a book distributor actually. And when he used to ask people for donations, they used to say like, how much? So he used to say, something is better than nothing. But then he used to say, but more is better than something. So, what would we say to such a person? Yeah, maybe you do have some pleasure on the train. Maybe you are enjoying the food. Maybe you are enjoying the view. But maybe, just maybe, if you knew more about what potential there is outside of this train. Did you know that there's a whole world of enjoyment outside of this train, outside of this world? Maybe you could enjoy more. So yes, maybe you do. Are we going to sit here and say there's no pleasure in going to a restaurant? Of course there's some pleasure. Are we going to sit here and say there's no pleasure in going on holiday? Yes, there is pleasure. But what we're saying is that there's also a pleasure which is much greater than all of that. But how will you ever find that pleasure if you don't look beyond what you already know? So all we're asking you to do is open and broaden your horizons to see what more there may be beyond what you know. When I was a kid, I used to hate tomato ketchup. And it's my brother would chase me around the house I'd run away from it, literally. It was like that. And then one day somehow my mom tricked me into eating it, and I just liked it. And ever since then, tomato ketchup, with everything. Because you have to try, you have to explore. So this is the first thing we would say to such a person. Right? But the second thing we would say to such a person who says, look, my life is good. What we would say to such a person is, but you can't deny that there are also difficulties. You can't deny that there are also dualities. You can't deny that sometimes you don't wake up in the morning. No one prays for misery, but misery comes. So don't you want to try to explore a life that's free from those dualities? You see? Even if someone says they have everything, no one has everything. Like they used to say, if you want to be happy in your life, you need three things, from a material point of view. Time, money, and health. Right? That makes sense. Time plus money plus health, and joy. Interesting thing is, when you're young, you have all the time in the world, you have all the good health. No paisa, no money. Right? Then, when you're in middle age, oh, you've got loads of money now. And you've still got your health. No time, no time. And when you're old, all the time in the world, and all the money in the bank, ain't got any good health. Material life is doomed. There'll always be something that's missing. So if that person's saying, yeah, I'm on the train, I'm enjoying the ride, but we'll say to them, maybe there's much more. Why don't you become a bit broad-minded to explore? Because maybe your whole life you've just been living in the box. Is that okay? And the train ride's going to end.
To say such a thing with conviction, I've spoken like this to people, and when they ask you, but are you free? And how these things without duality? I myself am covered with duality. To say something with a conviction that would really touch their hearts, I must say, it's very rare.
Yeah. No, they say in English, you can take the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. Even Krishna cannot force Arjuna. Because I already said, Krishna said at the end, do what you want to do, it's up to you. Our job is not to force people or to, we're just out there giving a message to people. And then ultimately it's up to people. But you make a very good point. If we're not experiencing it ourselves, then what conviction do we have to tell other people? You can't take the world to a higher place than what you've reached internally yourself. So you're very right. That's why was Srila Prabhupada such a powerful... why did he have so much impact? Was it that his oratory skills were out of this world? Not necessarily. Was it that he had like major financial backing? No. Was it that he had an incredible strategy of how to, No. Was it that he had really amazing people around him? Well, he did, but they were also like hippies and they were a little like, maybe not the most. But he did it. He went to a New York park. He sat beneath a tree and he just got a bongo drum out and he just started chanting Hare Krishna. And you know what? People stopped. And when they stopped, he told them Bhagavad Gita. And you know what? Because he was speaking from a position of complete conviction and realization, he touched people's hearts. And when he touched their hearts, they went out into the world and they touched many other people's hearts. And thus began the Hare Krishna explosion. So, yeah, you're right. And we can't just go out there telling people, if we're not feeling it. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to spend time together, inspiring each other, lifting each other up higher, so that when we do all go out into the world, we have something to give to the people. You see, it's like we're here in this little building in Amsterdam, and it's a nice building. And to the rest of Amsterdam, it's insignificant, this gathering. It's just like, 60 people in a room. Too many people for a size, room this size. Not enough breathing air or whatever someone may say. And it looks like an insignificant gathering, but it's not. This is the most significant thing that's happening in Amsterdam today. Because here, people are coming together to actually understand why in the world am I in this place? And when we inspire each other to rise, you become empowered to be an instrument of positive change in the world if you share this wisdom with conviction and compassion. And that's the goal of this movement. So we're not here, we're not just some like religious club, we're here to understand the essence of life. And that's what people need in the world. Otherwise everyone's just going nowhere fast. Running around, rushing around, where? For what? Then one day you lose it all? What's the point? Makes no sense. So we live in a mad world. We think it's normal. It's like this, I'll give you an example. 30 years ago, people used to ride on a bike. I mean, they still do in Amsterdam, but not in London. People used to go from place to place in a bike. But then we got advanced. So then we got motorbikes. And then we got cars. So now people whiz around in motorbikes and cars and get from place to place. But the amazing thing is, what they do at the end of the day, after they're completely exhausted and they've gone around doing so many things, then what they do at the end of the day is they pay 30 euros and they go to a gym. And then in the gym, in a room, they sit on a cycle. And they start cycling and sweat like anything and go absolutely nowhere. And we think like that's normal, that's life, that's what you're supposed to do, that's what all progressive people do. They have a gym membership, that's what you're supposed to do. Can you imagine if someone from 50 years ago saw someone now cycling on a exercise bike in a room? They'd feel like, what's going on here? This is absolutely strange. This is the world we're living in. It's a mad world. This 5-year-old girl, she wrote this poem. It's called The Paradoxes of the Modern Age. She says, we have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider freeways but narrower minds. We have more conveniences but less time. We buy more but we enjoy less. We lose our health to get our wealth, and then we spend the wealth to try and get the health back. We've multiplied our possessions, we've reduced our values, we've conquered outer space, but we haven't even understood the inner space. It's the world we live in. So we really need people to grasp the Bhagavad Gita. It's not a religious book. This is life. This is identity. This is who you are. And then share that with conviction and compassion. That's the mission we're on. I mean, once you get me behind the mic, I can go on and on and on. We are at 5:15. Do we stop there, or are there any burning questions, or do we just stop there?
Okay, first questions?
Okay, like I would like to
Just 1 second. Let's just make sure we have time. We have time.
Maybe last one. If there's more, maybe after.
Yeah, last one. Yes, you get the last say.
yeah. Originally, I was not even in the mood to ask, but eventually, when now we are closing, so I thought I should. See, how still can we achieve material goals still being in spirituality? Because I still feel that in order to even serve people, we still have to somehow achieve material goals. And when we are in spirituality, how to not still lose the touch and still try to progress in a bit, because even if you make something good with your life, you'll be able to help someone else also to build their life.
Okay. The goal of this movement is not to make everyone a sannyasi. But if you're interested, we do have vacancies. Get one of these as well. It's good if you have a bad back, it helps you to get off the floor. After Arjun heard the Bhagavad Gita, he became the most successful person on the planet. It's not that now he heard Bhagavad Gita, all his success went down, down the drain. He became the most successful. Material becomes spiritual when you use it for a higher cause. So if you have an ambition and you have the drive and ability and the capacity to do something in the world, do it. But do it for a higher cause. If you say, I want to be the best investment banker, but I want to be the best investment banker so I can be rich, so that I can be powerful, so that I can have influence, that's not purpose. But when you say, I want to be the best investment banker so I can be rich, powerful, influential, so that I can then make a beautiful contribution to the world and bring divinity into people's lives, then you are a spiritual investment banker. And all your material goals are not material goals anymore. They're spiritual, because those material things are being employed in a spiritual cause. So by all means, in this room, many of you have the potential to be successful in different fields in the world. Do it. Like, we live in London, and our temple was donated by George Harrison. Are you all familiar with George Harrison? Okay. You have to check, because generations change. So George Harrison, you know the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, I don't want to go on and on, but should I give you an idea of how popular George Harrison was, right? At the age of 21, do you know what an Arctic lorry is? You know when you go on a motorway, the biggest type of lorry you see. You know those, you've been on a motorway, you see lorries, right? You know the lorries.
What's a lorry?
Lorries is the English London word. Trucks. Trucks. The biggest trucks, yeah? When George Harrison was 21, 7 trucks full of birthday cards arrived at his home. 7 trucks of birthday cards. I mean, if he was on Instagram, forget it, right? Like, he'd be off the scale. Right? At one point, it was controversial. They said the Beatles are more famous than even Jesus Christ. It was controversial, but it was a fact. The Beatles were soaring in their popular, and this George Harrison, he got interested in Krishna. And you know what? He said to Prabhupada, I want to give it all up. And you know what Prabhupada's response was? You don't need to be initiated by me. You're already Hari's son. And he said, you know what you need to do? You need to go out there and through your music, you need to teach the world about spiritual things. And he did that. I really want to see you, but it takes so long. Anyway, I'm not good. Get my guitar out. So he did it, and how many people did he reach? So many people. So be successful. But then what are you going to use all of that money for? Use it for something good. Otherwise, money just gives you anxiety. Money gives you anxiety while you're trying to get it. Money gives you anxiety while you have it. And money gives you anxiety when you lose it. And it's amazing. People still center their lives around money. When you're trying to get it, it's a big headache. When you have it, you're scared you're going to lose it. And when you lose it, it's like the world has crashed. And it's still like money, money, money. What are you going to do with money? You get money and you give it and you use it and make people's lives beautiful. That is a beautiful life. So the Bhagavad Gita wants you to be the most successful, but in a spiritual way. Alright, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.